Surrounded by admirers whose eyes shimmer with anticipation, they drift through the sea of longing glances and whispered affections, yet feel nothing. Compliments slide off them like raindrops on stone, each declaration of interest met with an indifferent gaze. No spark ignites, no warmth stirs within. They are a soul untouched, moving through the world as if walled off by an invisible barrier, forever unreachable despite the devotion that surrounds them. What they feel for you defies logic, eclipsing mere attraction or fleeting desire. It's as if their very soul has stirred, recognizing something ancient and unshakable. It unsettles them, dismantling every belief they once held about love, about connection, about fate itself. This isn't comfort or convenience. It's a collision of destinies, a pull so deep it leaves them breathless, wondering if they ever truly understood what it meant to belong to someone. While others clamor for their attention with elaborate gestures and relentless pursuit, it's your quiet, unshaken presence that captivates them in ways they can't explain. There's no strategy, no performance, just an undeniable energy that pulls them in, forging a bond deeper than words. Against it, every other option fades into insignificance, their once enticing choices now feeling empty, like echoes of something that never truly mattered. They are surrounded by possibilities, countless paths, endless admirers, an abundance of choices that should make them feel powerful. And yet, none of it holds weight. Every option is a hollow echo, a fleeting distraction that fails to spark anything real. Because in the end, it isn't about having choices, it's about the one choice that makes all others irrelevant. They go through the motions effortlessly, engaging in conversations out of routine rather than passion. They laugh when expected, respond with just enough charm, even play along with the occasional flirtation. But it's all empty, a script performed without feeling. There's no thrill, no magnetic pull, no heartbeat quickening with anticipation, just a hollow dance of words that never truly reach them. Every exchange feels predictable, a script they've rehearsed 1,000 times, smiles that don't reach their eyes, words that fade the moment they're spoken. It's all surface, all noise, until you shift something in them, breaking through the monotony with a presence that feels startlingly real. Against the emptiness of everything else, you are the one thing that makes them stop, breathe, and finally feel. Their thoughts are trapped in an endless loop, a persistent echo that won't let go. Every word spoken to others feels hollow, as if it's all rehearsed, lacking depth or meaning. They try to engage, but the conversations are mechanical, the connection non-existent. It's all just noise, nothing that holds their attention, nothing that lingers. Only one thing pulls them in, a thought that won't release them: you. The bond they're meant to create elsewhere never materializes because their mind is elsewhere, lost in thoughts of you. No matter how much they try to focus, your presence lingers in their mind like an unshakable force. They're left puzzled, unable to understand why you aren't pursuing them, why you don't seem drawn in the way everyone else is. It's as if the rules of attraction no longer apply, leaving them to wonder why you remain a mystery they can't unravel. You are not chasing, not competing, not bending yourself to fit into their world. You are simply being, unapologetic, unwavering, whole. And yet, in a world full of noise, fleeting moments, and endless distractions, it is you they can't ignore. Without effort, without intention, you have become the exception, the one presence that lingers, the one soul that stands apart from the rest. On paper, it should be simple. They should be embracing the constant stream of attention, basking in the effortless praise and the endless offers from those eager to please. Every door is open, every desire within reach. Yet, despite all of it, something feels off, as if none of it can fill the void. They can't shake the feeling that this is all too easy, too shallow, like a beautiful illusion that vanishes the moment they try to hold on. It all feels like a blur, a chaotic noise that drowns out everything else. They convince themselves it's just a fleeting feeling, that with time it will fade, replaced by something simpler, something more comfortable. But it doesn't fade, it only deepens, growing stronger with each passing day. And soon, the people around them begin to sense the change, the quiet shift in their energy that can't be ignored. Something is different, something they can't quite place, but it's there. Their friends joke, nudging them with playful comments about the admirers lining up, the ones falling over themselves to get their attention. A perfect match stands right in front of them, offering everything that should make sense, a connection that should feel effortless. But it doesn't. There's no spark, no shift in the air, just a sense of something missing, something that makes even the most ideal choices seem hollow and unappealing. They can't explain it, but nothing fits. They play their part, smile, respond, engage with the world around them, but their mind is elsewhere, adrift in thoughts they can't shake. Beneath the surface, their spirit resists, pulls away, as if something inside them knows a truth they were never meant to uncover. It's a quiet rebellion, an inner knowing that something about this all feels wrong, like they're meant for something far beyond the routine they're stuck in, something they can't quite grasp yet. They were meant to see many, but it was you who caught their gaze. That unspoken moment when someone looks at you, not just with their eyes, but with something far deeper, something that reaches beyond the surface. They weren't expecting it, weren't searching for it, but the instant their eyes met yours, something inside them changed. It was like a memory from a past they couldn't place, an undeniable knowing that stirred deep within them, a quiet certainty wrapped in a feeling they could never fully name, yet recognized as truth. It wasn't attraction as they had experienced it before, no slow building intensity, no logical pull, no fleeting spark destined to fade. This was something else entirely, something immediate, unshakable. It felt as if every step they had taken in life had been leading them to this moment, to you, though they hadn't even known they were searching. It was a connection that bypassed reason, a force that settled into their very bones, as if you had always been the missing piece of something they hadn't even realized was incomplete. They tried to dismiss it, to find a logical explanation for what they were feeling. Maybe it was the way you moved, with effortless grace, or the way your voice seemed to echo in the air, calm yet captivating. Perhaps it was the way you carried yourself, confident, serene, never seeking attention, yet somehow commanding it in a way they couldn't quite grasp. It wasn't something they could put into words, a force that drew them in without ever trying. It was as if you existed in a way that made everything else feel secondary, and they couldn't help but be pulled into your orbit. But it was more than that, more than your face, your voice, your energy. It was a recognition, something deep within them stirring, a truth their heart knew long before their mind could catch up. There was an undeniable familiarity in the way you looked at them, a quiet knowing that passed between you without words. It was as if they had stumbled upon something they weren't even seeking, a feeling of home they hadn't realized they were missing, yet it was always meant to be found. You saw it too, not in what they said, but in the subtle pauses between their words, the way their eyes seemed to search for something just out of reach. It was in the flicker of their expression, torn between curiosity and disbelief, as if they were trying to process something they couldn't explain. Their energy leaned toward you almost instinctively, as if drawn by a force they weren't ready to admit. It was there, in the smallest moments, where they couldn't hide what they were feeling, even when they weren't fully aware of it. A Persian proverb says that what is meant for you will never pass you by, and they didn't search for this feeling. It simply found them, slipping into their life like an unexpected whisper. You've felt it too, the strange timing, the impossible patterns that seem too perfect to be coincidence. Reality itself seems to bend in ways that defy logic, aligning in moments that shouldn't make sense yet continue to unfold, leaving you both caught in a web of occurrences that feel fated, as if the universe itself has quietly conspired to bring you together. Still, they try to shake it off, try to make sense of it, to force logic where none fits. But how do you explain the moments that refuse to obey reason? The way their breath catches when you speak, as if you've plucked the very words from their thoughts, words they hadn't yet spoken, but were already waiting to be said. How can they deny the weight of those uncanny synchronizations, the unspoken connection that seems to exist between you, beyond the reach of anything explainable? They reach for their phone, ready to text you, only to find your message waiting for them, as if the universe had already whispered your thoughts into theirs. A song that reminds them of you begins to play, perfectly timed, as if every beat echoes their own emotions. And then there's the unexplainable, the places you both had visited years before you ever crossed paths, the strange overlaps in your histories, too specific to be mere coincidence. It's as if time itself has been gently weaving your lives together long before you realized it, aligning moments with such precision that they can't help but wonder if fate has always known this was meant to happen. In a world of billions, the sheer fact that your paths were destined to cross feels too significant to ignore. They try to convince themselves it's just coincidence, that these moments are random, a product of overthinking. But deep down, they can't deny it. The universe isn't merely nudging them, it's shouting, pulling at the very fabric of their reality. It's aligning moments, weaving connections, making sure they see the truth that was etched into the stars long before either of you even knew it. And try as they might to dismiss it, the signs are too clear, too deliberate, to be anything other than fate itself at work. This isn't coincidence, it's recognition, something deeper than chance. No matter how hard they try to push it away, the signs keep appearing. Too clear, too deliberate, too undeniable to be brushed off as mere accident. You're not physically there, but they feel your presence in every subtle shift, in every moment that feels too aligned to be random. It's like a force pulling them towards something they can't escape, a truth they can't ignore, no matter how much they might try to convince themselves otherwise. They tell themselves it's nothing, that it's just their imagination. And yet, why does your presence linger uninvited in the corners of their mind? Your name drifts through their thoughts without warning, a quiet whisper that slips in when they least expect it. No matter how hard they try to ignore it, the pull of you remains, soft, persistent, like an invisible thread they can't quite sever, drawing them back to you in ways they can't understand. They move through their day, caught in the rhythm of conversations, distractions, and endless tasks. Yet, amidst it all, that pull toward you resurfaces as if it can't be ignored. There's a sudden, inexplicable urge to check their phone to see if your name has appeared, and an unsettling restlessness that stirs within them for no apparent reason. It's an energy they can't place, a quiet force that tugs at them, drawing their attention back to you, even when logic tells them there's no reason to. They catch themselves wondering how you're doing, a fleeting thought that passes through them without warning. And in that very moment somewhere, you breathe out deeply, a weight lifting from your chest, as if you've just released something you didn't realize you were holding on to. It's as if, in that instant, a thought had crossed the space between you, a silent exchange that neither of you fully understands, yet feels undeniably real. They find themselves scanning the crowd, eyes moving almost instinctively, as if searching for something they can't name. There's no expectation that they'll see you, yet they look anyway, drawn by some invisible thread they can't explain. The crowd shifts around them, faces blur together, but their gaze keeps drifting, lingering for a brief moment on every unfamiliar face, hoping, without understanding why, that maybe, just maybe, you'll be there. And when they don't find you, there's a quiet ache, like a piece of them has been left incomplete, waiting for something they can't fully grasp. It's not about your physical presence. It never was. Presence is tangible, something you can touch and feel. But this is different. It's a bond that defies distance, an unspoken tether that doesn't fade just because you're not in the same place. It's an energy, a connection that remains, subtle yet undeniable, as though you're always there, even when you're not. They swear they can feel your energy, lingering in the air around them like a gentle warmth that presses into their space, making everything feel suddenly more alive. It's subtle at first, but unmistakable, a quiet pull, an invisible thread that seems to tighten around their chest, wrapping around their ribs in a way that makes their breath catch. It's as if you're near, even when they know you're not, your presence slipping into their world in ways they can't quite explain. They've never experienced anything like this, not a pull so strong, so relentless. It's as if they've been haunted, not by someone seeking them out, but by someone who isn't even trying to reach them. There's no effort on your part, no pursuit, and yet your presence lingers in the background of their mind, an echo that refuses to fade. It's a feeling they can't shake, one that haunts them in silence, as if your essence has quietly woven itself into their thoughts, leaving an imprint they can't erase. You are different. You've never needed to be physically present to be felt, and that's what unsettles them the most. They thought they understood love, thought they had experienced it before. They've been in relationships that seemed perfect, relationships that ticked all the boxes: compatibility, mutual goals, stability. Everything looked flawless on paper. But that's all it ever was, a well-crafted illusion. Nothing ever stirred them the way this does. Nothing ever felt like this deep, unexplainable connection that exists beyond logic, beyond what's supposed to make sense. They had always believed that love should make sense, that it should follow a predictable path, something comfortable and familiar. But then you came along. You didn't simply fit into their world. You tore down the walls they had built, shattering every boundary they had placed around their heart. You showed them a love that wasn't confined to logic or routine, a love that defied the rules they thought they understood. Suddenly, everything they thought they knew about love felt small, incomplete, compared to what they had found in you. They tried to compare, to analyze, to figure out why you felt so different, but there's no comparison. What they had before was neat, structured, practical, manageable. It was a love they could define, control, predict. But you are chaos in its most intoxicating form. There's no rhyme or reason to the way you've swept into their life, no calm predictability. You are unpredictable, raw, and beautiful in ways that leave them breathless, drawn in by a force they never expected to feel, a kind of love that leaves them shaken, unsure, but desperately wanting more. They didn't need to convince themselves you were the right choice, didn't have to list pros and cons or search for reasons to justify it. There was no effort, no internal debate. Everything just clicked. It was immediate, undeniable, like a puzzle piece falling into place without hesitation. There was no forcing compatibility, no awkward moments of trying to make things fit. From the very first moment, it was as if you had always belonged there, as if your connection was always meant to be, as natural as breathing. The difference is unmistakable. Before, love felt like a series of negotiations, compromising, adjusting, settling for something that was always just short of perfect. They had to rationalize their emotions, convince themselves that this was enough, that they could be content with what was in front of them. But with you, everything shifts. There's no need for compromise, no convincing, no settling. It's effortless, pure, a love that doesn't ask for adjustments because it's already exactly what it should be, unquestionable and whole. The difference is unmistakable. Before, love felt like a series of negotiations, compromising, adjusting, settling for something that was always just short of perfect. They had to rationalize their emotions, convince themselves that this was enough, that they could be content with what was in front of them. But with you, everything shifts. There's no need for compromise, no convincing, no settling. It's effortless, pure, a love that doesn't ask for adjustments because it's already exactly what it should be, unquestionable and whole. You made them realize that love isn't about finding what's simply good enough. It's about what's undeniable. It's about discovering someone whose soul resonates with yours, someone who feels like truth, not just a logical choice. With you, everything is different. You aren't just a possibility, a fleeting connection to be analyzed and rationalized. You are the truth they never knew they were searching for, a deep, magnetic force that pulls them towards something far beyond the surface, a truth they feel in every moment with you, beyond words, beyond reason. Their world feels like a constant pressure, a cacophony of voices, demands, and expectations that never stop. Everywhere they turn, someone is trying to make their mark, to be heard, to be noticed. It's overwhelming, drowning them in noise, leaving them gasping for silence, for something real. The weight of it all presses in, and yet, despite the chaos, they can't help but long for something deeper, something that transcends all the frantic noise and offers a moment of peace, a place where they can just breathe. It's always been this way, attention flooding them like an unrelenting storm, compliments, admiration, and longing glances from every direction. People reaching out, desperate to hold their gaze, trying to be seen, trying to be chosen. But it's all just noise. It feels hollow, disconnected, as if everyone is speaking, but no one is really saying anything. The constant pull of it all leaves them empty, craving something real, something that cuts through the endless clamor and feels genuine, something that doesn't need to be chased or proven. Words that hold no weight, smiles that flicker, but never truly light up the heart, conversations that skate on the surface, filling the air, but never reaching below. It's all an act, a performance to keep things moving, but nothing ever feels real. There's no connection, no spark, just an endless exchange of pleasantries that fall flat, leaving them empty, longing for something that matters, something that breaks through the facade and touches the core of who they really are. Then there is you. You don't chase, you don't seek validation, and you certainly don't try to impress. Yet somehow, you captivate them without even trying, effortlessly, naturally, without the need for any pretense. That is what shakes them the most. They are used to being pursued, to people fighting for their attention, bending over backward to earn their favor. But with you, there's no struggle, no chase. You simply exist, and it's more magnetic than anything they've ever known. And it's that quiet confidence, that ease that unsettles them, making them realize how little they truly understood about connection. You are untouched by the games they've perfected, indifferent to the attention that follows them wherever they go. You don't chase after validation, nor do you seek approval. You exist in your own realm, grounded, focused, untouchable. There's an unshakable strength in your stillness, a calm that contrasts everything they know, and that is precisely why they can't stop thinking about you. You stand apart, not needing to conform or compete, and yet your quiet presence draws them in like nothing else, making them question everything they thought they understood about connection. You are not part of the chaos, not a piece of the constant clamor that surrounds them. You are the stillness in the space between, the quiet they didn't even realize they had been longing for. In a room full of admirers, with all eyes on them, their thoughts wander to you. It's not the noise that captures their attention, but the silence you carry, the calm that pulls them away from the distractions. Even in the loudest moments, they find themselves craving the peace that only you seem to offer. When they hear empty words, they yearn for the weight of yours, the ones that are not said just to fill space, but to truly connect. When others vie for their attention, they can't help but wonder why it never feels the same. There's a hollowness to the gestures of others, a surface-level noise that falls flat in comparison to the way you make them feel. It's as if no one else's words or actions ever quite reach the core of them the way yours do, leaving them restless, seeking something deeper, something that only you seem to provide. You are different. You do not chase after them, yet they find themselves drawn to you, unable to resist the pull. You don't clutter the silence with meaningless words, yet they long for the sound of your voice, as if it holds a deeper meaning than anything they've ever heard. There's an effortless magnetism to you, a quiet power that doesn't demand attention, but commands it. And in a world full of noise, they are left craving the simplicity of your presence, the way you make them feel seen without saying a word. You are not waiting for them, and yet the thought of you becoming unavailable stirs a quiet panic within them. It's a fear they can't shake, a fear that only grows with every passing moment. And it's that very fear, the fear of losing something they didn't even know they wanted, that makes you impossible to ignore. You have unraveled them in a way they never expected, leaving them vulnerable to a connection they thought they could control, yet now find themselves powerless against. In your presence, they realize that it's not just your absence they fear, but the loss of something deeper they can't quite define.